Welcome to the Milk Bottle e-commerce show, brought to you by Milk Bottle Labs, one of the world's top-rated accredited Shopify e-commerce experts. Founder Keith Matthews interviews e-commerce professionals, app developers and entrepreneurs to share as much digital knowledge and e-commerce tips and tricks as possible. This podcast is kindly supported by Rewind.io, the leading backup solution for Shopify, BigCommerce, Trello and more. Let's just say it's the cheapest insurance policy you'll ever get for your Shopify store and all your valuable data. Simply go to rewind.io/milk bottle to get your first month for free. Now let's hear from Keith.
Hey folks, welcome back. My guest today is Youre Dowling, a Dublin-based pharmacist and scientist, having graduated from Trinity College in Dublin in 2002. Otherwise known on Instagram as the Fabulous Pharmacist, for over 20 years Youre has been on a mission to optimise wellness by educating and empowering people to achieve sustainable, healthy lifestyles. FabÜ Wellness is the result of Youre's fascination with the wonderful powers of plants, herbs and mushrooms from across the world, and Youre now retails nutritional supplements that merge the power of nature with the precision of science through a Shopify store, which was built by our team at Milk Bottle Labs. Youre, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Good. I don't know where to start. Your profile is very, very similar to a mutual friend of ours, Una.
I know. I was actually listening to your podcast with Una before I came into you today. Una's great.
Yeah, Una's episode and our episode with Louise Stokes are the two most downloaded episodes.
I can imagine.
So Louise is another very successful Irish entrepreneur. So welcome, delighted to have you.
Thanks, it's great to be here.
And you've just launched FabÜ. Is it FabÜ Wellness or FabÜ?
FabÜ, because it's a play on my Fabulous Pharmacist, so it's fab as in like you are fab.
Very good. Very good. And we'll get into that in 1 second. In terms of your good self, at what point in your kind of life did you realise that you wanted to go to Trinity and become a pharmacist?
So I've always loved maths and chemistry and biology and healthcare, but I didn't really like blood and guts. So it was either going to be pharmacy or medicine. And because medicine, I thought, would have involved a bit of blood and guts, I decided to go for pharmacy instead. My dad also said, oh, pharmacy's a great career, Youre. You know, you come out and you're a professional, you're earning immediately after college. So that's why I did it. And I really loved it. It was very much the course for me. It was very academic and very, mathsy chemistry, which is what I'm best at.
Yeah, and I noticed last week it was announced that Trinity are back now inside the top 100.
I was delighted to see that too. As an alumni, you go, of course, we knew it all along.
So you're a real Trinner, are you?
Oh, well, you know what? My experience at Trinity was great, apart from first year. So basically, I did very well in the Leaving Cert, obviously, to get in the first place, and then I got into Trinity thinking I was going to have a great old time in college, and it was it's a 40-hour lecture week. So you basically have half the day lectures and then half the day labs. So you're in there 9 to 5. I had met my now husband just before I went in, and I decided I was way too clever for lectures. I didn't actually need lectures. So as a result, I failed 3 subjects. And you see, with me, like if I do something, I'm going to do it really well. So I failed spectacularly. Like you're talking like I got like NG in, one of the subjects. And I remember going in to one of the lecturers trying to, get him to maybe, push me over the 40%. And he said, this is the worst paper I have ever seen. You've written Leaving Cert chemistry answers to a pharmaceutical question. So what the hell? So anyway, look, after that, I got the head down, got the repeats at the end of the summer, and I never looked back. So your
comment about you didn't need to go to lectures. I felt I didn't either, but it wasn't because I was too clever. I did a science degree as well in your competitor university on the south side.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's interesting that you mentioned 40 hours a week. We had 40 hours a week. It was 9 to 5 every single day. Yeah. Maybe Friday afternoon you had a break.
Yeah.
And the amount of people that I met in college, that were doing arts were only some people by the time they got to third year were doing 3 to 6 hours a week.
I know. And my husband the same. He was doing best, so he was doing like a 4-hour lecture week, and I was doing 40. So he was a bad influence. I know he wasn't. It was my own decision. But anyway, look, I learned my lesson, and it was a good lesson to learn in first year. So I never looked back. Good. I never failed another exam again. I'll tell you that.
That's good. The last couple of years, I think, have really brought to the fore the importance of pharmacists and the industry and your corner pharmacy, your local pharmacy. And I think it was very obvious to everybody, especially in the Irish health system, when the private and public facilities kind of merged, and then the doctors were overwhelmed. And then who took the fall for the majority of the population were the pharmacy sector. So the question is twofold. When you graduated, was it what you thought it would be? And then in the last couple of years, has it changed?
So Trinity is a very academic course. Well, it was back then. It's now changed. It's a lot more patient focused. And there's, they come out a lot sooner into pharmacies to kind of experience what it's like to work in a pharmacy. Whereas before it was just 4 years of academia, your 1 year pre-reg, and then you were out. So yeah, I had fully expected what it was going to be like when I came out after Trinity, because I'd worked in a pharmacy for my work experience and things like that. So I'd known what it was like, and I did love the job. But certainly in the last couple of years, COVID has really put a strain on pharmacy and community pharmacy in general. I know a lot of my friends, a lot of my colleagues are burnt out, and a lot of them have left the profession or have moved into something different or are working a little bit more part-time. And as a result, there's a problem with actually sourcing pharmacists to work in community pharmacy at the minute.
And is it correct to say that as a pharmacist, you have multiple skills that you can use elsewhere in multiple other areas within the medical sector?
Yeah, there is. Like the discipline is such that we can work in a myriad of professions. And I know pharmacists that have gone into banking, gone into maths, gone into they're running companies. They are doing so many different things that doesn't involve just working in pharmacy, or even in pharmacy and industry or in hospital. So it's a very analytical course as well. So it does allow for a transition into most areas that you wouldn't even believe,
Yeah, and in the world we live in now, employers, especially large corporates, are kind of more welcoming to people from completely different areas or different verticals. Yeah,
absolutely. And it means then there's, and I think when you have 2 or 3 different brains working, because I always say people have a certain type of brain, and when you have 2 or 3, you have an analytical brain, you have a sciencey brain, and then you have someone who's a little bit more artsy, that they can work really well together, especially if you're building a business.
So you're not a pharmacist now?
Oh, I am. I will always be a pharmacist.
You're not. No. I'll roll that back. You're not a full-time pharmacist.
I'm not a full-time pharmacist now, but I always identify myself as a pharmacist because that is my main love. And I have left the full-time dispensary business for the time being, but I'm still part-time, tipping in and out of it, and also very much a part of a lot of pharmacist working groups, so both employee and employer working groups, and very much involved in, I suppose, the future of pharmacy and wanting to, I suppose, showcase what pharmacists can do, because like you were saying, we have a huge skill set, and I suppose in Ireland I think we are viewed quite highly in, even consumers and patients, and that we did top the poll for professions of trust. I think we came in number 1 in the NRBI this year again. That's when we came in, I think, last year too. So, but I do think that we can give a lot more. And I have had messages on my Instagram going, "Geez, I never knew a pharmacist could do that. I never knew pharmacists did this." So there is so much more services that we can provide, and it's about the HSE, I suppose, acknowledging that and allowing it to happen, and us showing what we can do as well.
And did you win Pharmacist of the Year last year or this year?
No, this year I won it.
So one of the questions I was going to ask you was, do you miss it? I mean, you have to miss it if you're that passionate about it.
Yeah, I worked in the one pharmacy for 17 years.
Wow.
So I knew my patients inside out. So, and the little pharmacy that I worked in actually didn't have a bathroom on the premises. So we used to have to go out to go to the bathroom, and I'd come back in and there'd be someone standing at the counter, and I knew who it was. I knew them by the back of them. That's how well I knew my patients and my customers. So, but I've been a community pharmacist for 20 years and working full time for 20 years, as well as doing my little bit on the side with Instagram and the couple of public speaking events that I would have done as a result of that. So now building this other business, there came a point I needed to go 100% into it and really give it my all, which is what I've done.
Yeah, great. We'll talk about that, right? But before we get to FabÜ, or is FabÜ
FabÜ.
FabÜ, okay.
I know. Do you know what? The name, because everyone calls it FabÜ because that's the naturally what it looks like, but it doesn't really matter what you call it. Sure, no. It's like whatever. It's Porsche,
Yeah.
Let's get it to that stage. Yeah, and that's not a problem to have.
It's like in the Shopify world, it's like Klaviyo and Klaviyo.
Yeah.
Very same.
Yeah.
The Fabulous Pharmacist. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, Laura, you have nearly 55,000 Instagram followers.
Yeah. I think it was like 40, I think 53 at my last count or something like that, yeah.
So I follow you. I wouldn't spend too much time on Instagram, but I follow you, and I just wrote down a list of some of the topics that you've covered, right?
Yeah.
So here is a list of 5. Your last video was on pelvic health.
Yeah.
You discuss food. You discuss sex. I saw you dancing, right? Okay. You discuss menopause, birth control, homosexuality.
Yeah.
I have to say it is a massive, diverse group of topics that you cover. It just makes sense that you would have a following.
Yeah.
Because you're a qualified medical professional and you're discussing things maybe they wouldn't be taboo, but for some people they would be a little bit risque.
Yeah.
So firstly, where did the name come from?
So the name Fabulous Pharmacist, I suppose we'll go back to when I first started it, which was in and around when just after I'd gone back to work after my third son had been born. So I suppose I've been in the business at that stage, whatever, maybe 13, 14 years. And I wanted to do something a little bit different because people were coming into me asking me the same questions every single day. So patients, customers, and then also friends and family. I was getting pictures of, babies' arses saying, what's this rash? I one time got a picture of a friend's husband's undercarriage.
You did not.
Yes.
What was the response?
So she'd obviously taken it from under him. So it was like at an angle, and his face was in it too. Like he was looking I was like, I can't unsee. Like I can never go for dinner with you guys again. I can't unsee that picture.
What was the lighting like? Was it okay?
The lighting was enough in that I got a big enough view to be able to say, that fella needs to go to the doctor. So I would get all these same questions. So I was like, look, I wanted to be able to put this out online and be able to give people the answers to things that they may be asking, people on a regular basis so that they have somewhere to go where they can get really unbiased advice and just, general healthcare without answering medical questions that would pertain to that people need to go to a doctor or a pharmacist physically for, but just like general healthcare advice. So that's how it started. And I wanted, obviously, the name to stand out. So there's no point in just calling myself, the boring old pharmacist. And I do believe that everyone has a fabulousness in them. So that's where it came from. So Fabulous Pharmacist.
Yeah, I like that because we were discussing that before we pressed record. I like what your last line there. Everybody has a fabulousness. And that's actually true.
Yeah. And that's why I discuss such a broad range of issues. I think everyone should have a voice. And as long as people aren't hurting people or, everyone needs to have some kind of platform to be able to speak about their problems. Even you were talking earlier about I have a highlight on chemsex with my friend Kevin.
Yeah.
And the amount of messages I got from parents of gay young men that were like, thank you so much for letting me into their world a little bit, because now my son who's 17, who has just come out, I kind of know the topics that I need to discuss with him about his health, his sexual health, his general mental well-being and that. So yeah, I actually love people and I love really interesting people with diverse backgrounds and stuff. So I'll talk to anyone.
No, it's great. And we'll put the link in the show notes. Genuinely, I was fascinated when I first found it.
Yeah.
It's unique content and it's authentic and it's very you. But you're also, I'll go back to my point earlier on, you're coming at it from a qualified kind of perspective. But is it difficult for you then to create a boundary? In other words, you're a pharmacist, but you're not a doctor. Where is that line drawn amongst pharmacists? Because if I go into a pharmacy, and I talk to the person behind the counter, most experienced pharmacy staff, without ever being a pharmacist, they have a lot of knowledge.
Yes.
Then they defer to the pharmacist. But at what point do you kind of have to draw a line and go, well, I'm not a doctor?
So the line is drawn. It's very clear to me. I am an expert in medicines and drugs. So I know all there is to know about all of those things. And so long as I keep up my CPD, which is my continual professional development, I will continue to do that. So I can answer any question when it's related to people's drugs, and all of those kind of things. And then also what pharmacists see a lot of is minor ailments in the healthcare setting. So we would see, the usual things that people come in with, coughs and colds. But then also what comes with being a medicines expert is that knowledge around the illness that drug has been given for. So we know an awful lot about that, but we don't diagnose people in the pharmacy. We will send people to doctors all the time. And we have very, very good relationships with GPs and hospital doctors too when necessary to phone them up and that. So a pharmacist, we exactly know the line. And then in terms of the Instagram, my Instagram will be, it's very much a general information page. So people cannot message me and ask me personal healthcare problems or personal medical problems because A, that's wrong for me because I don't know them, they haven't seen them, I haven't got them standing in front of me. And even doctors online would say that, no personal medical advice. So it's all very general. So it's a very clear line to me, and it's a very clear line to other pharmacists as well as to what they can and can't do. And, if in doubt, you'd always refer someone to a doctor.
Okay, let's take a quick break to listen to our sponsors. Rewind.io is the leading data backup solution for your Shopify store. Did you know that there is no way of recovering lost data in Shopify? If your store is gaining traction, you may have multiple staff or third-party developers entering your store. Mistakes can happen and data can be easily deleted. Rewind.io puts you in control of your data, allowing you to restore anything accidentally lost from a single image to an entire store. It acts as a pretty cheap insurance policy for your Shopify account. At Milk Bottle, we help clients reduce their business risk by installing Rewind in every single store before we make any changes. Get your first month for free by simply replying to your sign-up email. So we met through your need to go online, okay? And can you explain to people basically what the FabÜ brand is?
Yeah, so FabÜ is a brand that was in concept for the last 4 to 5 years. So I have seen in the pharmacy a real need for people. They come in, they're looking for products that they can buy that can help their well-being and help their wellness. And, you know, there's an overwhelming amount of products out there, vitamins, supplements and that. You know, if you go to any one pharmacy, any one health food shop, it's quite overwhelming for people. There's products with, you know, loads and loads of ingredients in them, and people don't necessarily need to take all those ingredients. And people don't understand the amount of ingredients that are in them or what the significance of them is for. So I wanted to bring really tailored supplements for specific needs to the market, to the people that I know need them. So people will be coming in exhausted or anxious or, you know, just need a little bit of balance and calm in their life. And they're looking for something natural to take. So over the years, I have learned and done so much research in this, and also pharmacognosy, which is the study of plants and mushrooms and herbs. I, you know, excelled at that in pharmacy. It was always a real of an interest of mine. So all that traditional Chinese medicine, Ayurvedic medicine, I'm massively into, you know, and you learn all the time as well. So that's where the concept came from. As I said, we started it 4 years ago. I've been in and out of labs and testing and trialing products, etc. Formulations, blending them myself. So it was the time to do it then. Just this year, I was ready to go, found the manufacturer that was going to do it for me, you know, after endless searching for someone that was really an expert in the field of mushrooms and all those botanical extracts that I have in my products as well as the good vitamins and minerals too. So yeah, it was the right time. So 5 years ago, it wasn't the right time, even though I had the formulations and I had everything to go. I'm glad that I took the real time to do it and really do it properly so I can come to market with a product that I can really stand over. So yeah, that's the reason.
So FabÜ is the brand, and effectively you're a DTC brand at the moment. You're selling direct to the customer using Shopify.
Yes.
But how on earth do you go from formulating a natural ingredient to producing it and getting it into the box? I mean, how long did that take?
So years from concept to research to development to into the box, you know, and it's. You know, I didn't understand it was going to take that long either. You know, I thought, I have a really good idea. Let's do it. It'll be done in a year. No, like I did the SuperValue Food Academy for a few years ago as well. A lot of, you know, study and that went into that. And then I was going to come out with something, but I wasn't 100% on it. I wasn't even 80% on it. I was like, you know, I know I've wasted a year of my life. I'm going to shelve this. I'm not doing it. But in actual fact, it wasn't a waste. It was actually a massive learning curve. And I took all that knowledge and I put it into what I did today. And I'm just, you know, I can totally stand over my two products. But yeah, it takes years and it takes tears and it takes blood and sweat, but it's also the highs are so high that the lows are almost worth it.
Yeah. So for our international listeners, SuperValue is one of the top 3 largest food retailers in the country. So if you get into SuperValue or get into the other multiples, sometimes it can kill a brand, but obviously you're getting in front of 50 or 60% of the population.
Yeah, and they did say they would list that initial product that I was going to come out with. They were for it. They were behind it. We got the pictures taken and everything, but I just, you know, you need to be 100% over what you're doing.
But you said you had the product at 80%, but like what's the difference? What was the 20? Were you not happy with the formulation?
Yeah, so I'm a real stickler. It's the pharmacist in me. So everything has to be exact and perfect. And to the point that, you know, I drive people around me crazy. They'd be like, look, it's 80%, it's fine. Just go with 80%. I can't do that. I can't let go unless something is 100% perfect. And I was definitely not going to put my name to something that I wasn't 2000% happy with. So that's where it comes from. And do you know what? Although it might slow you down in some ways, it makes it a much better thing to end up with. So that's just the way my brain works, and I can't be any other way.
Well, you're also dealing with a product that people are going to be putting into their bodies.
Exactly,
So you're-
And, and I could have, it would still have been, perfectly safe and everything, but I just wanted it right. I wanted it to work. I wanted people to know that they got something that was really special and quite unique, which is what I have, and I'm very proud of it.
Okay, so for listeners then that have an idea, right, and I don't know the answer to this, so I'm interested in it, you figure out the ingredients, and where does it get certified or mixed, or where is it produced?
Well, at the beginning, you just, you play around with the ingredients, you do a lot of research in and out of labs, you mix them yourself, you take them yourself, you give them to family and friends, and you're kind of doing that. But then when you need to go and actually scale it to make a product that's actually for the market, you need to find a manufacturer that'll do it. You need to do your due diligence on all your manufacturing. You need to make sure they have all the the certificates. You need to do the walk around the manufacturing plant. You need to make sure everything like that is fine. So, and then once you do that, it's all about the branding of the product, which can actually take...
Just before you go there, right? I've heard multiple people tell me that, you can't get contract manufacturing plant in Europe unless you're going to order, 100,000 units or 200,000 units. So there is a solution there. There is people out there that will take on small brands.
Oh, there is. There absolutely is. And I suppose it's how persuasive you can be,
Well, you're very persuasive.
Could you say no to me, Keith?
No. I wouldn't like it. What would be the consequences?
Well, that's it.
No, but so you found somebody.
I did. I found a number of people, actually, but I went with the best one.
Yeah.
So, and that's the whole thing. And I think it's about being tenacious like that. And it's about knowing that it isn't actually easy. And if anyone came to me, and I would, I'd be happily give advice to anyone, because I got advice along the way from people too. I got really good advice.
Yeah.
Una being one of them.
Yeah,
She's an amazing lady.
Yeah, absolutely.
And loads of other people along the way. Jennifer Rock, who's Skin Ingredients.
Skin Nerd, is it?
Skin Nerd. Yeah. She's developed Skin Ingredients. It's and people like that can really help you. And then there's others that don't help you. But you live and learn with those. And you just learn along the way. But it's about knowing that it isn't easy. It's do you know what? The easy part is coming up with the idea. The hard part is executing it.
One of the worst conversations that I have with anybody is, I have an idea. I mean,
I know.
You can register a domain name for an idea in 10 seconds. I mean, that's the easy bit, unfortunately. So you found a contract manufacturer, you tested it, nobody died. Nobody keeled over, which is a good start.
Yes, absolutely.
So then you move into branding. And I remember when you engaged with us, and I remember getting the first visuals of your packaging and all that kind of stuff, I was actually really impressed.
Yeah.
So you had no prior experience of any of that either, did you?
So I did 4 years ago when I did the Super Value Food Academy. I did work on a branding concept then. And so the branding that I have now, if you saw the two side by side, you'd laugh. However, the brand that I have now was the FabÜ name. I trademarked it and everything 4 years ago. But what happened in the meantime is I had to enlist the help of a graphic designer, obviously, and move forward. But the amount of iterations and reiterations, and I'm going to show people someday when I have a bit of time, the actual process as to what I went through. And yeah, long hours, long phone calls, long Zoom meetings, take this full stop out and put it here, move this around here. So, and the branding actually, what I found from that, you need to actually move the branding along at the same time as the manufacturing. You can't think, I'll find the manufacturer, I'll get that done, and then I'll move to the branding. The branding takes almost longer.
Yeah.
And you need to, it's about moving everything together at the same time, which my brain sometimes isn't very good at, because I might suffer a bit from attention deficit in terms of I have an idea, but then I have another idea and I'm moving from idea to idea. So I actually need to sit down. I always carry a book now with me.
Take notes.
And take notes and write lists, and I tick off my lists. Yeah. That's what I do.
So then you came to us.
I know. Una sent me your way. I said, Una, I want the best people to build my website, because I haven't put all this blood, sweat and tears into my brand to have a dodgy looking Shopify shop. Yeah. And she sent me your way. And it's the best thing it is. And I'm not just, tooting your horn, but it is the best thing we did, is investing in your website. My whole idea was that we were just going to be an e-commerce business. That was the idea. But in actual fact, when I launched, I got so much interest from pharmacies and from people that work in pharmacies, not even the pharmacy owners. People, they were like, oh my God, we need to get this, that I got onto Whole Foods, wholesalers who, Ronan in there has been an amazing help as well. And it's all those people that you need to get help from, all those different brains in all those different industries, in all those different areas of the industries.
But Laura, I don't think you're giving yourself credit. I mean, and I've said this on podcasts before, 60 or 70% of the queries that we get are from female entrepreneurs. If I have to say it every episode, I will. Like, you've conceived an idea, You spent 5 years developing it. I mean, the easy bit for us is to build the online store. I mean, you have done so much work prior to that. Like, I'll just say, well done. It's just fantastic,
Thanks.
But before we go into Shopify and go in and your experience and that kind of thing, you made a really important point there. So you planned on only being D2C and using Shopify. And I remember we had discussions about warehouses, and there's a load of other elements to the business that we actually engage with you.
Yes.
And printing labels and all of these kind of things and which courier to use. Like, we can't talk about everything.
No.
But there's so many elements to successfully launching. Are you going to go down the distributor route, or is that already in play?
So that's already in play because, as I said, we got so much interest. And I if you're D2C only, I think with a brand like mine, you can only reach so many people. But if my product is in pharmacies, that gives it authenticity in itself, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And that allows me to build a brand and come out with more formulations that are all in my head, swimming around, driving me crazy at night time.
Yeah.
And it allows for that to happen. And then because and the online sale, the online business has been phenomenal. Like, I'm only out a month and I already have to reorder my stock. I can't get over it. I just got a message today saying you need to reorder immediately. So going into pharmacies is huge for me too, because it's lovely because I know that my colleagues believe in me. And that's really important because peer support is so important, especially when I come out as Fabulous Pharmacist. That sounds like I'm coming out gay, doesn't it? Or coming out as, but when I come out as Fabulous Pharmacist, the worry there is, oh God, how are my peers going to perceive me? Because whatever about the general public.
That's an Irish thing though, isn't it?
It is. And it's but for the most part, I don't think I've embarrassed them too much.
You absolutely haven't. Explain what the two products are. There's FabÜ Shrooms, which I think is just a brilliant name.
Yes.
And FabÜ Oral Lax. The Shrooms one, explain what that is.
So FabÜ Shrooms Immune it's specifically targeted for supporting the immune system. So it has vitamin D, vitamin C, copper and zinc, which are they're in the absolute correct quantities. They're the highest quality ingredients I could get. And then we have our cordyceps and chaga mushrooms, which have been used for centuries, millennia actually, in traditional Chinese medicine and Ayurvedic medicine for immune support, and then overall general health too, to the point that actually people are messaging me saying, oh my goodness, this product has just making me feel brilliant, it's giving me loads of energy. And actually I'm not as much of a cow now coming up to my period either, so it's helping me with my PMS. So I'm like, look, I'm not going to make those claims. My main reason for making the FabÜ Shrooms Immune was for immune support, and that's brilliant. And it can also support hair growth too and all the rest, but immune support that. And then it has the cordyceps and chaga mushrooms, and it's really important to me because the mushrooms, there's not a real education around mushrooms here in Ireland.
Well, the first thing everyone thinks of when somebody mentions mushrooms.
That's why I went with the shrooms name. I wanted to be a little bit tongue-in-cheek. So, and it's huge in America, and it's big-ish in the UK, but I want to really educate people on mushrooms and the healthcare benefits of them.
But on a serious note, what you're saying is there is multiple health benefits to mushrooms that the Irish population don't really know.
No, so I want to educate people about that and talk about it at length. Like, there's huge amounts we still don't know, researchers still don't know, we're only finding out about it, but mushrooms are fantastic. And then with the Oral Relax, I saw people coming into the pharmacy day in, day out, and they wanted something to, help ease tiredness, fatigue, help them, just have a more refreshed sleep, help them feel a little bit more balanced and calm in their life. So there are vitamins and minerals that can help support psychological function, that can help support the immune system, which I have in it. And then there are also botanical extracts that do that. So traditionally, we would know that chamomile tea is taken to help ease and relax you and calm you, and people take it before they go to bed to help them sleep. So I've, chamomile extract in it. I also have melissa. I also have ashwagandha, which is like this amazing Indian herb. It's used in Ayurvedic medicine, for centuries. And we're kind of coming around to it over here in Ireland, but it's a brilliant adaptogenic herb. So it adapts to your body differently to the way it will adapt to my own body. And it has just... It has been phenomenal, the sales and that. It has just, skyrocketed, and people are coming back and they're giving me amazing reviews. So they're really getting on well with it, which is really important to me. Like, seeing those reviews come in, I didn't expect to see the reviews coming in so quickly because it usually can take like weeks for people to feel the benefit. But I was getting people coming in going like, I haven't slept in months, and actually I had the most refreshing night's sleep last night. Thank you so much.
I saw that.
Yeah,
I noticed that one. Yeah, but is there? Like you mentioned earlier on about the amount of vitamins that are available, and when adults in the world we live in wake up every morning, there's a cost to getting up. You've got a mobile phone bill, you have to fuel your car. And there's a lot of vitamins and a lot of additions that we can purchase on a daily basis. And a lot of these vitamins and, nutrition bars, that kind of thing, they're all very expensive, okay? When you were developing the business and developing the kind of concept and getting it to the market, did you ever think that there was enough of them out there? Or were you just so focused on the product?
As in, did I think there was too many and it's saturated? Why should I bother?
Exactly.
I know, but they're not like mine.
Yeah.
And that was my reason.
That's the differentiator.
100%. Yeah, absolutely. And also, I wanted to come in at a really good price point for people, because even, when I told friends and family what I was going to charge for them, they're like, oh my God, like that's really cheap. Like there's someone out there charging 50, 60, you know what I mean? Why are you? And, I know most of my Instagram followers, and I know most of my patients and customers that come into the pharmacy to me, they don't have a huge amount of disposable income. Yeah. We all want to feel well. We all want to feel healthy. We all want to add to our lives in a good way, but we don't necessarily have loads of money to spend. So I wanted to come in at a really good price point for people, so they didn't feel it was extortionate. The R&R is the most expensive, and it's less than €1 a day to take. So I really want to keep any product that come out within future, around less than €1 a day.
So the answer is you were very conscious of it.
Extremely
conscious, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And then extremely conscious of, yes, it's saturated, but look, I know I can bring something different.
Yeah, and that's good. That's good. So we brought you onto Shopify.
Yes.
And when did it go live? Was it 6 weeks ago?
So it went live about 6 weeks ago, but I didn't talk about it at all. So no one knew, because you were like, you need to go live to kind of, so Google will build the data and kind of track it and stuff like that. And I was like, oh my God. And it was always me not wanting to do it because I needed to be perfect. And you were like, Laura, you need to press the go button. And Deirdre, who is amazing, I love Deirdre. Laura, you need to press the go button. And my partner, you need to press the go button. But I was like, no, it's not ready. But then I just did it. I was like, okay, close my eyes, press it, done. So then that was fine, because there was no one really on it and no one was really looking at it. But then I launched on a Sunday evening, just on Instagram. I just went on my story. And, and even then I was trying to put it off. I was like, oh, it's actually too hot a day. I don't think that we should do it. Like, I mean, there's people aren't going to be looking and they're not really interested. And again, my partner's like, you need to do it. Like, you should have done this a week ago. Would you just, if you do it, it's never going to be done. It's never going to be 100% right. And I did it, and it was just phenomenal. Like,
the psychological term for that is pre-launch jitters.
Yes. Or procrastination, which I'm known to do as well. Yeah. But it's that. So I have to actually find the balance between needing everything perfect. And it's okay to want everything perfect if you're making something that people are putting into their mouths. But maybe it doesn't have to be perfect if you're launching it, or if you're going live, or, that kind of way. So.
Yeah, so what you experienced there is just pre-launch nerves, which is natural. Mm-hmm. And it's interesting that you only have 2 products on the site, because we would work with a lot of customers. We work with one customer that I think they have 22,000 products.
Oh my goodness!
And when they're launching or they're changing part of the site, they get the same pre-launch jitters. But the truth is that there's a principle in online retail called minimum viable product. And a lot of customers hold off on launching their new brand until they have 10 or 15 products. Okay. But the truth is you can launch your brand with one product.
Oh, yeah.
So our advice to most people is launch straight away with a few products. Go for it. Let the customers see the site. If there's any problem with it, you'll find out straight away. Mm-hmm. And as you say, focus on the product. Now, we would never suggest, I suppose, we knew that the site was okay. Mm-hmm. But for you,
yes,
you probably think there's a load of things that are wrong.
Oh, and I was and even I was thinking, oh my God, what if something goes wrong, or what if they think this is absolutely awful, And even when I launched, I was like, I launched in the evening time on a Sunday evening, and so it was like the next morning that it would have been that we would have known if there was any sales or not. And I was like, oh God, I'm going to wake up tomorrow night and everyone's going to think I'm a joke. But in actual fact, there was loads of sales overnight and it was unreal,
Brilliant.
So, yeah.
And what you didn't know was we had stress tested the site before that.
Okay.
And everything was tested.
Okay.
And everything was QA'd,
yes.
So, but well done. It's great.
Thanks.
So I suppose my next question is, for somebody that has come from the wonderful background that you've just described, into effectively being an online entrepreneur, running a DTC brand,
yes.
Let's throw out the euphemisms.
Yes.
The US love talking about that. I run a DTC brand. How have you found Shopify? What's your experience been in that short time?
It's great. Like, it's really intuitive. And although I'm good, I suppose, on Instagram and that, and doing good at doing videos, I'm not very IT savvy. Like, I worked in pharmacy for 20 years, but that's all very closed systems. There's no intranet, it's intranet. So, and quite clunky systems, actually. We do need a bit of an overhaul. So I, hands up, didn't even know how to use Outlook, really, except to send the odd Hotmail. So this has been a steep learning curve for me.
Yeah, but Laura, you've worked in retail, front, customer facing for up on 20 years.
Yes.
So again, don't be harsh on yourself.
I suppose, no, you're right there. You're right. But I suppose you always think, oh God, how do I not know this? And people have said, how do you not know this, Laura? But I know it now.
Can I just interrupt you one last time? I know people that have worked in offices 20 years and they still don't know how to use Outlook properly.
Okay, fair enough. Then I don't feel so bad. Okay. But no, Shopify is very intuitive. And even when we were building the shop and when Deirdre was tic-tacking over with me about this and that, I really knew that I needed to know how to do it and know how to make little changes myself. So I did, and it's great. And you just spend a couple of hours on it and it's amazing what those hours do. And now then, for instance, I think there was a little problem there during the week and I was able to just go in and change it on my phone. Whereas before I would have been in a panic. So no, it's great.
And you're using the Shopify app?
Oh, I am.
Does it go ding, ching, ching when you... Or did you turn it off?
That little dopamine hit is
isn't it?
Ta-ding! Even the kids go, whoop!
Yeah.
When they hear
Isn't it just, it is.
Yeah, it is. And it's also, it's reaffirming, God, I did I've done this. It's going well. And actually people believe in me and they trust me. They trust me to bring them a really good product. So it's thrilling on a number of levels.
Yeah. Well, it was an absolute pleasure to work with you.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Even with my no, we can't do it. This isn't right.
No, we'll talk about that after. And well done. Look at you, have a wildly interesting story.
Yeah.
And I just want to wish you the best of luck.
Thanks so much. Thanks so much.
I'm assuming your future plans are more product?
Absolutely, yes. And I'm launching my own podcast and doing loads of things. Yeah, no, loads of. I've too many ideas in my head. There isn't enough hours in the day to get them all out of it. But I will. And I'm baby steps, I suppose. But I tend to not do baby steps. I tend to just go full throttle speed. People do say to me, "Jesus, you're like a Duracell bunny. Do you ever sleep?" And I do. But I suppose I have yoga. I have yoga and I have swimming, and exercise is actually my medicine, really.
And do you take your own oral?
Of course I do. Of course I do. I have everyone on them, and they do bloody well work.
I'll try it.
I have one for you here.
Very good. Thank you. Well, look, on a serious note, well done.
Thank you.
Fascinating interview. And from all the team at Milk Bottle, best of luck in the future.
Thanks so much.
Thanks for listening. All of our episodes are available on Spotify, iTunes, and Google Podcasts. A special note of appreciation goes to our sponsors, Rewind.io, the leading backup solution for Shopify store owners. Get your first month of Rewind for free by simply responding to any welcome email once you sign up for your free trial on Rewind.io. If you're a Shopify user with an exciting story to tell, reach out to the team on podcast@milkbottlelabs.com. Until the next time, take care.